So hello guys and welcome to my channel. So first of all, I just want to say Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year's to everyone, especially Asians living in the world. Con si pha cái, chúc mừng năm mới, Gong hay phát chói. So this is a special episode. Instead of doing Touch Designer, I had some time off this holidays, so I decided to go back to basics and do a tutorial on how to tackle Resolume feedback trail. So as you can see here, Resolume is a very powerful tool to create visuals and do VJing. But contrary to the popular belief, there are different tools in Resolume which can help you to achieve this kind of trippy, wavy effects that you see on the screen over here. And I just want to do a deep tutorial on how you can create this kind of visual with different tools in Resolume, because I think over the past 3 years of teaching Resolume, there were a lot of misunderstanding about the potential of this software. Okay, so without further ado, let's go into the demo. So one of the most common methods that people recommend on the internet to make a trail is actually just using feedback loops. And feedback is available in the source. As soon as you type in feedback, you're going to find it. Okay, and just drag and drop it anywhere in your compositions, regardless of the layers order. The feedback is going to apply to all of the clips and layer being played in your compositions. Okay, so this is without feedback loops, and this is with feedback loops. Okay, and you're gonna see that it's creating this kind of replications of the same balls. Okay, but it's look ugly. So how can we change that? Very easy. For the scale, put that into 50%. Okay, and you're gonna see that it's create this kind of beautiful trails. And there's one problem with this, is that the feedback loop, the way it works, as I explained before, is going to retain the image of the previous frame on the screen. And as a result, you're gonna see this image fade out to black. Okay, so basically what it does here is just copy the previous frame to the current frame. Okay, and as a result, you're going to see this kind of fade out graphics. And also there's a problem with the trail created with feedback, is that if I put a background over here, okay, you're going to see that it's freeze and not going to move. Okay, unless in the feedback loop over here we type in position 1, 10 for example, and basically is what it does here is it's going to move the feedback every 10 pixel per frame, okay, to the right. Okay, and the same thing goes for the position Y over here. Okay, and you see that is create this kind of nice glitch, beautiful graphics, but at the same time what you see here is a displacement or a distortion of the background. Okay, and let me show you the background without feedback loops. Okay, so this method is nice. Sometimes at the end of the set you can apply this effects when the music is very trippy, everyone is tired, but okay, there's different way in Resolume that you can create trails without compromising the background. Okay, and let me explain the other methods. Now, the other methods that people recommend on the internet is that use the trail effects. Okay, so the trail effect is available in the effects. As long as you type in trail, you're gonna find it. Okay, so the trails over here, when you apply to the pose, it's going to create this kind of blurry trails, which is nice. But what if we want to make it sharper? Okay, we can increase the feedback. Okay, but this means that the feedback is going to stay on screen, and after a while you're gonna see your screen being freeze. Okay, same thing goes for Luma. Okay, use Luma over here, it's going to freeze your screen. And lightens over here, you increase the value feedback to 1. After a while, what you see is just going to be a white screen. Okay, so this is undesirable, and I would recommend not using the trail to create the feedback trail. Okay, because that is the wrong method. I don't know if there's another way to fix this problem. If you have a questions, if you have a solutions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, just going to explain other methods. So I'm gonna find cloner over here and drag and drop linear cloner to the clips, and you're gonna see this thing happens. So in the property of the linear cloner over here, you have number of clones. So more clones that you have, the more dense the trail is going to look. Okay, but keep in mind that the more clones that you and actually the maximum is just 50, the more clone that you do, the more heavy your computer will have to carry, because this is basically just a replication of the same video 50 times. And the tails over here, if you decrease this 1 to 1, what you left here is just a beautiful trail, but it's not straight, so we can straighten it out by going into the distortions and decrease this value to 0. Okay, so you have a beautiful trail of the ball moving up and down. And what I want to do now is just explaining a little bit about the way that you can create with cloner beautiful trails, but also like a bit of a mandala. Okay, so after that you have this trail over here, you can go into, we can customize a little bit the trail over here by customize all of this value over here. And the start scale here is interesting. You can do like smaller balls to the bigger balls very easily. And I would set this one to BPM sync. And this one is just 40%. And you're gonna see that when we create this kind of trails and with cloners, and we set it to BPM sync, you're gonna see this kind of jumping frame. And to reduce that, make sure that whenever you use a cloner, put this to bounce. Okay, so it's going from the maximum value to the minimum value. And we can add also an envelope. Okay, so let's put something funny, bounce in and out, so it seems like it's bouncing to the music. Okay, and then we can add a little bit of rotations to the bowls, BPM sync as well, tail rotations. And what we can do next is we're going to add in a radial cloner. It's in the same category with linear cloner. Just drag and drop it behind this. And what you see here, if you reduce the radius, you're gonna have this beautiful trail. 0.1, too small, huh? 15s. And if you change the order of this, what you will obtain is this kind of beautiful trails of 8 balls, and it's creating this kind of beautiful trail for your graphics. Okay, in the radial cloner over here, actually in the linear cloner over here, you can change the distortions just to make it move up and down. Okay, so BPM sync, I'm just going to put this one to bounce as well. Okay, so you have a trail going up and down in the middle of the screen. You can also move the transform of the position X of the balls. Or maybe just increase the scale. But if you increase the scale over here, it's just going to be, so I'm just going to keep it this 20%. And then end scale, can increase this one to 1. Start scale, if I increase this value, in the radial cloner, the ball is going to look much bigger. Okay, so this is how you create a trail using radial cloner, a linear cloner. Okay, so if you change the order over here, you're going to see that it's create different kind of compositions. Okay, so this is the beauty of Resolume. Okay, if you just want to create a trail, this is the setting that you want to have. Okay, and that's about creating a trail with cloner. So one more thing that we can use of is using a trail with a wrap speed. Okay, And this one is pretty simple. The wrap speed over here is available in the FX. Let me just disable this. Wrap speed, then you drag and drop it into the graphics, and you're gonna see that it's create this kind of trail. Okay, and the nice thing about this compared to the feedback loops is we can modify the fits. Okay, we put this one to 0, it's going to be very blurry, but increase this one, you're going to see that the trail become very sharp. Okay, and then we can also modify the scale. If I increase this 1 to 1, it's going to be the same as the original graphics. Okay, and if you want, the only disadvantage of this method is if you want to make the trail longer, you have to apply another wrap speed to this. Okay, so that's the only disadvantage of this. And then you can also set this value to BPM sync. So let me just do this very quickly, just to demo. 0.5, and then you can have this loop of beautiful minus 0.5, beautiful trail, and set this one to bounce. And also this one to BPM sync. Okay, so you create this kind of trail shapes, 3D shape with the trails. Okay, so this is different way that you can create a trail in Resolume. Okay, so contrary to the popular belief, don't make use of the feedback as well as the trail effects. Okay, instead use the cloner wrap speed. And the nice thing about this method is afterward you can still use your background, and your background doesn't get distorted. Trail cloner over here. Okay, you see all the graphics in the background is maintained, and it's not being blurred or being white out by the feedback or the trails effects. Okay, and last but not least, okay, bonus for this video here, I'm just going to walk you through the process of creating the mandala over here. Okay, and it's just basically a bunch of radial cloner, linear cloner, and wrap speed together. So without further ado, let's do it. So this is the original graphic that I have. The first thing I want to do is I want to create a radial cloner. I can drop it here, and then it's going to increase this one to 12. Okay, so the distance between the balls is smaller. Okay, it's going to be more trippy later. Start radius is 0, and then it's going to go out of the screen like this. Okay, so BPM 0.6. Okay, and then start scale. Just gonna set this one to BPM sync as well, and then 0, 25, or maybe just going to go from 25 to 50. Right, and then on the rotations over here, I can set this one to BPM without thinking about any of the values, because basically it's just rotating on itself. And end radius over here and scale over here is just for the tails. Okay, not going to worry about that. And the fan offset over here is basically rotation of all of the balls on its origin. So what I'm going to do here is just going to add in a BPM sync to the master rotations, and I can add in a little bit of delays. So the delay here is basically the first ball, and the second ball is going to, the motion of it is going to be delay 0.5 seconds. Okay, and maybe this one is too fast, master rotation, so I'm going to increase the beat to 8 or even 16, so you don't see all the blurriness over here. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add in another, actually a linear cloner. Now please note that I'm not going to recreate the same one that you have seen previously, because every time that you play around with this linear cloner, you're going to radio cloner, you're going to have a little bit of differences, and it's create nice result. Okay, so the clone here is going to be 25, and let's increase this one to 50s, so that we have this a lot of things over here, copies over here. And then on the distortions, I just want it to be 0, and also on the tail length, if I decrease this value to 0, you're going to see that it's create this kind of beautiful mandala. Okay, and then we can add in another radio cloner to the scenes, reduce the start radius, and increase the start scale, so we have all of this thing together overlapping. And we can also do a little bit of delay. Actually, no. Now, whenever you set a values in with BPM sync, I would recommend that you check the value of bounce over here, because if you set it to loop, it's just going to create jumping frame, and this is not what we want. And we can set this one to envelope, also to bounce in and out, so we have this kind of beautiful graphic that sync with that jump in and out with the music. Okay, and then what we want to do next is we want to add in a rap speed. wrap speed, and then drag and drop it here, and you want to see that it's going to create this kind of beautiful and almost covering the screen. Okay, decrease the vignette, increase the fade over here. The scale, I can scale it up a little bit more for it to cover the screen. And I can also set this one to left and right. BPM sync 0.5 and 0.5. Set this one to bounce. Or one. And we can add in a background over here. So that's it. That's about the mandala creating. Just one note over here that what you see over here is just a very quick demo of the potential of the cloner radio, cloner, linear cloner, and wrap speed. When combined together, it can create this kind of beautiful mandala compositions. And every time that you apply another layers of the cloner, you're gonna see different result. Okay, so it's very powerful, and that should be it. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time. Bye bye.